Hi there! Today we have come to the National Space Centre in Leicester. We have done a trip here before, but we had camera problems on the day, so we didn't get a fantastic video. So we thought we'll come back again, so we can kind of call this the National Space Centre Part 2. And hopefully it's going to go a lot better for us today. Walking in, so this strange looking structure in front of us houses a rocket. So we shall see that shortly. And this large structure here is the Planetarium, where we're booked to see an astronaut show. And we're going to be allowed in first. As I said before, the planetarium's here on the right, where if you are hard of hearing, they do have a hearing induction loop and you can sit wherever you like and it will work. We've got some astronaut suits here. So we're into the main section now, so we've got different exhibits. So on the left here we've got Into Space, and then we have the universe, then our solar system, orbiting Earth, then the weather pod, where you can make your own kind of broadcast of a weather forecast on the TV. So somebody's having a go of it over there now. Perhaps we'll have a go of it later.
I think you should.
Thanks, Brock. I'm Sue. This is George, and here is your weather update for the 1st of July 2085. Extreme hurricanes are predicted in the Caribbean over the coming weeks as sea surface temperatures remain unusually high. Meanwhile, in Bangladesh, heavy rain is expected as an intense tropical storm develops. Flood warnings have been issued across the region. Back here in the UK, the sun continues to shine as we enter July. It looks like another glorious day in Scotland for those planning to hit the beaches. Don't forget to take the sunblock, as UV levels are going to be very high. Here in the Midlands, it will be dry again with highs of around 39 degrees, which is typical for this time of year. The southeast looks set for some much needed rain later in the day, but water rationing is likely to stay in force for several weeks. As we move into the evening, it's going to be another uncomfortable night with temperatures of around 22 degrees. That's all from me, Sue, and George. Don't forget the sun safe code, hat, shades and spray. Back to you, Brock.
And also we've got access to the rocket tower this way. So there's stairs up to it there, or if we go around this way, there's a lift. Okay, we're inside the planetarium, ready for the show. The show can't be filmed, so I'll just show you inside while we're waiting. We're going to see a show about astronauts. We've just seen the show in the planetarium. It's really, really interesting about astronauts and how they manage in space and the amount of exercise that they had to do. So if you come to the National Space Centre, we'd definitely recommend that as a film to come and see. We've wandered into the first part, which is Into Space, the first exhibit, Into Space. So we've got an interactive activity here, space shuttle pairs. How quickly can you match all 12 pairs of images? We have a space shuttle tyre, which is actually smaller than I thought it would be. And then we've got some film footage of different flights going on. And we see a shuttle landing at the bottom right there. So we come round this way. We've got Helen Sharman's launch seat. Just look how cramped that is. Her knees are forced up quite high really, and she's sort of semi-reclined.
She's very cozy then.
Yes, I would be really, really uncomfortable having my knees cramped that far up.
I think it's one of those things that you probably get used to through all the training.
Possibly. And it says Helen was a 27-year-old chemist who worked for Mars Confectionery when she answered an advert that said astronaut wanted, no experience necessary. She beat thousands of applicants to become Britain's first astronaut. She spent a total of 8 days in space conducting science experiments. Returning to Earth with a bump, the capsule bounced several times and eventually came to a stop upside down. Her seat held her in place with its shock absorbers protecting her from the impact of landing. So, I guess she was grateful for that seat then, with that kind of rough landing.
I would imagine so.
Here we've got Space Food by Heston Blumenthal. So we've got a tin of chicken curry, sausage sizzle, lime curd, stewed apples, bacon sarnie, Operation Rally, and Peaks Tea. So Space Food must meet strict standards before being approved for flight. For example, it must be easy to eat while floating and stay fresh for long periods of time. Heston took his menu a step further than simply providing the necessary energy and nutrients. He designed food to help lift Tim's spirits. Each dish was inspired by Tim's personal memories. Operation Rally, which is the last tin that I read, is a salmon dish inspired by an expedition Tim took to Alaska. A couple of Peak family favourites, sausage sizzle and chicken curry, were on the menu, along with beef stew with truffles. This more luxurious dish was a reminder of a romantic meal Tim once shared with his wife. Dessert was covered by a stewed apple dish and a portion of lime curd, a reminder of Tim's guilty pleasure, key lime pie. Finally, a classic British bacon sandwich gave Tim a taste of home. So that's why the tea bags are called Peaks Tea. So this is what Tim Peake took with him into space when he was staying on the International Space Station.
Ah, okay.
Astronaut training. Are you colourblind? Astronauts need excellent colour vision. So is your eyesight good enough for a mission to Mars? And here, no, I think you're going to fail, John. Here in this triangle, although you can't see it on the camera, there are 3 circles that have got different coloured dots in and different numbers. And if you can see the number, you're okay. So in the first one I see a 6, or it could be an 8. In the second one's 12, and the third one I think is 24. What do you see, George? What do you see in that top one?
I see in the top one and 6 in the bottom left as well. And in that one to the right, 74.
74. Oh well, the bottom third one we saw wrong. Yeah, it could be 74 actually. So I'm not sure George and I are going to make it either. Here we've got a full-size mock-up of the Columbus module of the International Space Centre. So I think if we go around the other side, we can get in, because they've got a ramp on the other side. There's a step this side, there's a ramp on the other side. This is a Russian space toilet.
So this is the same as the ones that were used on the Russian space station Mir. The toilet used airflow to carry waste away from the body. Liquid waste was then vented out into space. The toilet has a flexible hose with attachable funnels. Each crew member had a personal funnel shaped differently for men and women. I really don't fancy it. And it's got a button, space toilet, push, okay. Oh, we can hear it being sucked away into space. And then it compares it with an Earth toilet, so we can flushed away. And this is about taking a bath, because you can't take a bath in space, so they have to make do with wipes. So they've got a gauze finger sleeve soaked in toothpaste, Russian from the early 90s. Wet hand wipes, again the Russian from the early 90s. Well, these are all Russian from the early 90s. Shampoo and hair wipes, wet face towels, dry towels for hands and faces, wet body wipes, and dry towels for the rest of your body. I would rather have a shower, to be fair.
Well, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Now, what you'll need to do, John, because it's very low, is you're going to have to duck your head. So you need to duck.
Right.
That's it.
Careful. Careful.
So you can stand up again now. So we're inside. So different power supplies. And
Watch out, Ethan.
I know you want to get out. Shall we go out this way? There's lots of people in there.
a few things here. There's a shower. It's recognisable as a shower as well. But it seems to have a hose. I wonder if the hose kind of sucks the water off you when you've had a shower, I don't know. And then we've got different stuff over here. And computer stuff. And different things here. So I think we'll turn around, sweetheart, and we'll go back out. It's a bit busy and noisy in here. It says here, we're made of stardust. Everything you eat, breathe or touch originated from inside a star. You are stardust. There's a model here that shows the sun in the middle, and there's the Earth with the moon around it. And there's a handle you turn so that you can see the Earth moving around the sun. Seems we're moving backwards now. So there's the Earth. I'll turn the handle. You can see it spinning. So there's the sun. So this side of the Earth is now in daylight. There's Great Britain, United Kingdom, lit up in red. So it's just sort of turning into night time now.
Sure have gotten tired.
Discovering Pluto. The giant telescope. Let's have a look through the telescope then. See if we can see anything. Oh yeah, through the telescope. And we've got some scales here. So if you stand on the scales, your mass is 87.2 kilos, it says, and your weight in newtons is 87.2. So the weight shows gravity's pull on you. So your mass won't change, but your weight will. So on the moon, you'd be 136.8 kilos.
Oh gosh.
That's quite some weight you put on there. Jupiter, you would be 2,344 kilos.
I think I need to go on the non-Jupiter diet.
And on Mars, you'd be 333.2 kilos. We're going up in the lift now, inside the kind of bubble structure that we saw that houses the rocket. So we thought we'd start off at the top and work our way down. So we're kind of going backwards because we like to be different. So we've got a model here of the lunar module. We've gone up in the lift to the top floor of the space bubble, so we can see the tip of the rocket. And if we look down, we can see way down to the bottom. It's not very clear through the barrier, but it's quite a long way down. And to be perfectly honest, it's making my stomach feel a bit queasy looking down there. Come down to the 3rd floor, and we've got a timeline from 1942. In 1951 we had the first 2 space dogs. The USSR launched 2 dogs into space, and they survived the journey and became the first space dogs. Saigan and Disik, if I've pronounced that right. In 1960, Sputnik 5 launched 2 dogs called Belka and Strelka, become the first creatures to return safely after orbiting the Earth. And we go through to 1962, so way before I was born. So they only used female dogs, partly because of their milder temperament, and also in order to simplify the design of a single suit for the dogs. So they've got a game that you can play here. It's a simulator, so you need 2 players at least, and you have a control room where someone has to sit at the control desk and follow the instructions and instruct the player in the capsule and work through the items on the checklist. And in this side, one person goes in the capsule and has to follow the instructions. So there's the capsules. The view of the rocket from the 3rd floor. So see the tip of it up there, and it's not quite so stomach turning standing here. It's still a long way down though. So on the 2nd floor we've got information about Britain's space race. The prototype lunar spacesuit from the 1940s. That looks really, really uncomfortable. So you've got Blue Streak, nuclear threat pushes Britain into space, underground rocket silos, and defence to science. So here we've got a full-scale model of the first satellite made and launched by Britain, Prospero. And the real satellite has been in low Earth orbit since it was launched in 1971, and it's continued to expect circling the Earth until around 2070. Prospero was designed to study the space environment to help the development of future satellites. So here's the view from the 2nd floor. I can cope with that, it's not so stomach churning. So this is the 1st floor. There's a display here of Warfield's rocket development and engines. And the view from the first floor. Looking up to the top of the rocket, up there. And if we turn around and go this way, there's a bridge here that we can go along. We can't go down because it's steps. Soyuz capsule. They're Russian manned spacecraft, and they're the longest serving manned spacecraft in history. They're designed to carry 3 astronauts into low Earth orbit. Spacecraft similar to this are used to ferry astronauts to and from the International Space Station. And here we've got Gemini TTV2, and it's only one of 2 tow test vehicles. They were designed to test the possibility of a runway-style landing for the Gemini spacecraft. The capsule had a kite-shaped flexible wing attached, allowing the pilot to fly it to a controlled landing. Named after the inventors Gertrude and Francis Rogala, the Rogala wing went on to revolutionise the sport of hand gliding. The vehicle displayed here was flown by a test pilot, Jack Swigert. His selection as an astronaut was owed in part to the bravery and skill he demonstrated in the TTV-2. He later achieved fame as the command module pilot on the ill-fated Apollo 13 mission. Here we've got a model of the International Space Centre, and the real thing is about 50 times bigger than that. Ground floor, and we're looking all the way up to the top, and we can see the bottom of the rocket there. We've spent 2-3 hours here. It's been enjoyable. There's a lot to learn. It's very informative. Very, very busy. Perhaps coming in the school holidays isn't the best time to come because it's very, very busy, but we've enjoyed it. We've managed to get around okay. It's quite accessible. There's lots of hands-on activities, so there's plenty for everybody to do. So yeah, it's a good day, and we've got annual passes so we can come back again. So thank you so much for joining us. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you don't already, please hit the subscribe button, and we shall see you next time. Bye.